Questions. Most people imagine success like a lightning strike, sudden, dramatic, and visible to everyone. One day you are ordinary, and the next day you are successful. But real life is very different. Questions. In real life, success grows quietly, almost invisibly like a seed under the soil. You water it daily, you protect it daily, you give it sunlight daily, but for a long time nothing seems to happen. Questions. And that's where most people give up. They say nothing is changing. But the truth is, everything is changing, just underground. Think about how a mobile phone charges. You plug it in, questions. And for the first few minutes, you don't rush to unplug it saying, it's still only 2%, this charger is useless. You understand something very natural. Charging takes time. Questions. Yet with our lives, we expect instant results. We read one book and expect wisdom. We exercise one day and expect fitness. We work hard for 1 week and expect success. When that doesn't happen, questions. We feel disappointed, not realizing that success is simply still charging. Look at a daily life example. Learning to drive a car. On day one, everything feels confusing. Clutch, brake, questions. Accelerator. Your mind feels overloaded. You stall the engine, people honk behind you, and you think, I'll never learn this. But you don't quit after one day. You show up again the next day. Questions. Slowly, your feet start understanding without thinking. One day, you realize you're driving while talking, listening to music, even thinking about life. That didn't happen suddenly. Questions. It happened daily. Success works the same way. A successful speaker didn't wake up one morning speaking confidently. A successful entrepreneur didn't suddenly understand business. Questions. A peaceful person didn't become calm overnight. They all practiced their craft in ordinary days. Days with no applause, no likes, no validation. Questions. Days that looked boring from the outside, but were powerful on the inside. We underestimate what daily effort can do because it doesn't excite us. Daily effort looks small. Questions. Waking up on time looks small. Reading 10 pages looks small. Practicing for 30 minutes looks small. But let me tell you something important. Small does not mean insignificant. Questions. A drop of water seems harmless, but put it consistently on a stone, and one day the stone breaks, not because of power, but because of persistence. Daily life teaches us this again and again. Questions. A house doesn't become dirty in one day. It becomes dirty because cleaning was skipped daily. Health doesn't collapse overnight. It collapses because small warnings were ignored daily. Similarly, questions. Success doesn't arrive suddenly. It arrives because small disciplines were honored daily. Many people say, when I feel motivated, I will start. But successful people think differently. Questions. They say, I will start and motivation will follow. They don't wait for a special day like Monday, New Year, or their birthday. They respect today. Questions. They understand that today is not just another day. It is a building block of their future. Imagine saving money. If someone saves a small amount every day, it doesn't look impressive at first. Questions. But over years, it creates security, freedom, and confidence. Another person who waits for a big amount to save often ends up saving nothing. Success behaves exactly like this. Questions. It rewards those who show up daily, not those who wait for perfect conditions. Daily effort also builds something more important than results. It builds identity. When you do something every day, questions. You stop forcing yourself, it becomes who you are. You don't say, I try to read. You say, I am a reader. You don't say, I try to stay fit. You say, questions. I take care of my health. That identity shift is powerful, and it only comes from daily action. There's a beautiful irony here. People who chase sudden success live in stress, comparison, questions, and impatience. People who focus on daily progress live with peace, clarity, and confidence. Why? Because their happiness is not dependent on outcomes. It is dependent on effort. At night, questions. They sleep peacefully knowing, I did my part today. Life doesn't ask you to be extraordinary today. Life only asks you to be consistent. When you honor the days honor you back. Questions. When you respect small daily actions, life rewards you with big opportunities. So remember this deeply, success is not hiding somewhere far away, waiting to surprise you. Questions. Success is being quietly built in your daily routine, in how you wake up, how you think, how you act, and how you improve just a little every day. One day. Questions. People will call it overnight success, but you will smile because you'll know the truth. It was built daily. Questions. Most people believe that to change their life, they must change everything at once. New routines, new mindset, new goals, new personality. And that's exactly why they fail. It feels overwhelming. Questions. Exhausting and impossible to sustain. But real transformation doesn't ask for a complete makeover. It asks for commitment to just one habit, daily self-improvement. One simple promise to yourself. Questions. I will be better today than I was yesterday, even if only a little. Think about a mirror covered in dust. You don't need a new mirror, you just need to clean it regularly. Life is the same. Questions. You don't need a new life, you need daily polishing, and that polishing can be as simple as learning one new thing, correcting one mistake, improving one reaction. Questions. Or letting go of one negative thought. These small upgrades done daily slowly change the entire picture. Look at daily life. A child doesn't become intelligent because of one exam or one class. Questions. A child becomes sharp because every day they learn some things from books, sometimes from mistakes, sometimes from questions. No parent says, no, my child learned one day. Questions. That's enough for life. Learning is continuous. Yet when it comes to our own growth, we act as if improvement should be instant and permanent. Daily self-improvement is not about pressure. Questions. It's about awareness. It's about pausing and asking yourself simple questions. What did I learn today? What could I have done better? What will I do differently tomorrow? Questions. These questions don't judge you, they guide you. And guidance, when followed daily, creates direction. Consider physical fitness. You don't need an extreme workout to stay healthy. Questions. You need regular movement. A short walk daily is more powerful than an intense workout once a month. Similarly, questions. Improving your mindset daily, even for 5 minutes, is more powerful than attending one motivational seminar and forgetting everything the next day. Questions. Improvement works best when it becomes part of your lifestyle, not a special event. Many people wait for life to teach them lessons through pain. Questions. But daily self-improvement allows you to learn through reflection instead of suffering. When you reflect daily, you correct early. When you correct early, you avoid big failures later. Questions. This is wisdom in action. Let's take relationships as an example. Relationships don't break because of one argument. They break because small misunderstandings, ego clashes, questions, and unspoken feelings are ignored daily. In the same way, relationships grow when small efforts, listening, appreciating, understanding, are practiced daily. Improvement here is not dramatic. Questions, it's gentle and consistent. The beauty of daily self-improvement is that it puts control back in your hands. You may not control people, situations, or outcomes, but you always control your growth. Questions. Even on bad days, you can improve something, your patience, your response, your understanding. That's powerful. That's empowering. People often say, questions. I don't have time to improve myself. But improvement doesn't require extra time. It requires better intention. You are already living every day. Questions. Improvement simply means living with awareness instead of autopilot, listening instead of reacting, learning instead of blaming, growing instead of repeating. Questions. Daily self-improvement also builds confidence quietly, not the loud confidence that comes from showing off, but the calm confidence that comes from knowing you are evolving. Questions. You stop comparing yourself with others. Because your focus shifts inward. You compete only with yesterday's version of yourself. And that comparison is healthy. It inspires, not depresses. Questions. There's another powerful side effect. When you improve daily, people around you change too. Not because you force them, but because growth is contagious. Your discipline inspires discipline. Questions. Your calm creates calm. Your clarity creates trust. Without saying much, you become an example. And influence built through example lasts longer than influence built through words. Questions. Daily self-improvement doesn't mean perfection. It means progress. Some days you'll grow more, some days less. Some days you'll fail. But even failure can be improvement if you learn from it. Questions. The only real failure is refusing to learn. Life doesn't demand that you become extraordinary overnight. Life simply rewards those who are willing to upgrade themselves daily. Questions. One habit, just one, can slowly rewrite your story. Not loudly, not suddenly, but steadily, silently, and surely. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize something beautiful. Questions. Everything changed because you chose to improve a little every day. Questions. Most people ignore 1% because it looks too small to matter. We live in a world that celebrates big moves, big success stories, big transformations, big breakthroughs. So when someone says, questions, just improve by 1% every day, the mind immediately responds, that's it. It feels almost insulting, but life has a funny habit of rewarding the things we underestimate. Questions. Think about compound interest. If you invest a small amount of money, it doesn't excite you in the beginning. You don't feel rich. You don't see dramatic changes. But over time, questions, something magical happens. The money starts growing on its own. The growth becomes faster, stronger, and unstoppable. The power is not in the amount. The power is in the consistency. Questions. Personal growth works in exactly the same way. Look at daily life. Imagine adjusting your alarm just 10 minutes earlier. 10 minutes doesn't feel like a big sacrifice. But over a year, questions, those 10 minutes turn into more than 60 extra hours. Time you can invest in learning, exercise, reflection, or planning. One small adjustment quietly changes your entire lifestyle. Questions. That's the power of 1%. We often wait for big motivation to make big changes. But big changes demand big energy, and big energy doesn't come every day. Small changes, however, are easy to repeat. Questions. And repetition is where transformation lives. Anyone can be disciplined for one day. Very few people can be disciplined every day. That's why 1% wins, because it is sustainable. Questions. Consider brushing your teeth again. You don't brush for 1 hour once a month. You brush for 2 minutes every day. That small daily habit protects you from pain, expense, and regret. Questions. Now imagine applying that same thinking to your skills, your mindset, your health, and your relationships. 2 minutes of awareness daily can save years of struggle later. Questions. Many people fail not because they don't know what to do, but because they try to do too much at once. They overhaul their routine, burn out, and then quit. Questions. But 1% improvement doesn't shock your system. It gently stretches you. It whispers, just a little more today. And because it doesn't overwhelm you, you keep going. Questions. Look at how weight is gained. No one gains 10 kilos in 1 week. It happens because of small choices repeated daily. An extra snack here, a skipped walk there. Questions. If small negative habits can slowly damage our life, imagine what small positive habits can do. Life is fair in this way. It multiplies whatever you repeat. Questions. 1% improvement also changes how you think about failure. When your goal is massive change, failure feels heavy and personal. But when your goal is just 1% better, failure feels like feedback. Questions. You don't say I failed. You say, tomorrow I'll adjust. This keeps your ego low and your learning high. Take communication skills as an example. Questions. You don't become a great communicator by one speech. You become better by listening a little more each day, choosing words a little more carefully, pausing a little longer before reacting. Questions. These small improvements make you calmer, clearer, and more respected over time. People notice the change even if they can't explain it. There's something very peaceful about the 1% mindset. Questions. It removes pressure. You stop rushing. You stop comparing. You stop feeling behind. You focus only on one thing: progress. And progress, no matter how small, creates momentum. Questions. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates courage. And courage creates opportunities. Nature teaches us this lesson beautifully. A river doesn't cut through rock by force, but by persistence. Questions. A tree doesn't grow overnight, but it eventually becomes strong enough to withstand storms. Growth in nature is slow, steady, and sure. When we try to grow faster than nature, we break. Questions. When we grow with nature, we last. One day, after months or years of 1% improvement, something interesting happens. People call you lucky. They say, "You changed so much." They say, "Questions. It happened so fast." But you know the truth. You know it wasn't fast. It was faithful. Faithful to small efforts. Faithful to daily discipline. Questions. Faithful to showing up even when no one was watching. So never underestimate 1%. It may look small today, but it is building a future that will one day look massive. Questions. Just focus on being slightly better than yesterday. Do that long enough and life will do something extraordinary with something very ordinary. Questions. Most people wait for motivation like they wait for the perfect weather. If the mood is right, if the energy is high, if the inspiration strikes, then they will act. Questions. And when motivation doesn't show up, they sit back and say, "Today is not my day." The problem is motivation is emotional, and emotions by nature change. They rise and fall like waves. Questions. If your progress depends on how you feel, your progress will be as unstable as your feelings. Think about daily life. Do you wait to feel motivated to brush your teeth? Do you wake up and say, "Questions. Today I don't feel inspired, so I'll skip bathing"? No. You do it because it's a habit, it's non-negotiable. Discipline works the same way. It doesn't ask questions. How do you feel today? It asks, what needs to be done? Motivation is like a guest who visits occasionally, brings excitement, and leaves without notice. Questions. Discipline is like a family member who stays with you through good days and bad days. On days when everything feels easy, motivation joins you. But on days when life feels heavy, questions, only discipline shows up. And those difficult days are often the days that matter most. Look at students. Everyone feels motivated at the beginning of a new academic year. New books, fresh notebooks, questions, big dreams. But after a few weeks, motivation fades. Exams still come, deadlines still exist. The students who succeed are not the most motivated ones. They are the most disciplined ones. Questions. They study even when they don't feel like it. And later, when results come, people say, they are very smart. But behind that smartness is discipline. Questions. Discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about being honest with yourself. It means understanding that your future self depends on what your present self is willing to do. Questions. When you choose discipline today, you are choosing relief tomorrow. When you avoid discipline today, you are choosing stress tomorrow. Think about health. Questions. Many people wait to feel motivated to exercise, but health doesn't wait. The body responds to routine, not emotion. A disciplined person may not enjoy every workout, but they enjoy the strength, questions, energy, and confidence that comes from it. An undisciplined person enjoys comfort today and pays for it later with fatigue and illness. Life always collects its dues. Questions. One powerful thing about discipline is that it reduces mental stress. When you decide in advance what you will do daily, you stop negotiating with yourself. There is no inner debate, no excuses, questions, no drama. The decision is already made. This saves energy. And saved energy can be invested in creativity, growth, and clarity. Motivation says, let's start tomorrow. Discipline says questions. Let's start now. Motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on commitment. Motivation is loud and emotional. Discipline is quiet and reliable. Daily life shows us this everywhere. Questions. Offices don't run on motivation. They run on systems and discipline. Trains don't wait for the driver to feel inspired. They run on schedule. Nature itself is discipline. The sun rises every day. Questions. Not when it feels like it, but because it follows a law. And because of that discipline, life on earth exists. Discipline also builds self-respect. Questions. Every time you do what you promised yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, you send a powerful message to your mind, I can trust myself. That trust is priceless. Questions. Many people lack confidence not because they are incapable, but because they repeatedly break promises to themselves. Discipline repairs that relationship. At first, discipline feels heavy. Questions. But over time, it becomes freedom. When your actions are disciplined, your mind becomes relaxed. You no longer panic about deadlines, health, or direction. You feel grounded. You feel in control. Questions. That calm confidence is something motivation alone can never give. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline finishes it. Motivation can push you for a day. Questions. Discipline carries you for a lifetime. So stop waiting to feel ready. Start acting responsibly. Because when discipline becomes your lifestyle. Questions. Success doesn't become a struggle. It becomes a natural outcome. Questions. Human nature loves drama. We love big promises, big plans, and big declarations. From tomorrow, I will change my life. From Monday, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. This year. Questions. I will transform myself completely. These statements sound powerful, but most of them don't survive beyond a few days. Not because people are weak. Questions, but because big actions demand big energy. And big energy is not available every day. Small actions, however, are humble. They don't impress anyone. They don't give instant results. Questions. But they have one superpower: they are repeatable. And repetition is where real success is born. Look at daily life. Imagine a person who cleans their room for 5 minutes every day. Questions. The room never becomes messy. Another person cleans their room for 3 hours once a month. That room stays messy most of the time and clean only for a short while. Questions. Who is actually living in a better space? The one doing the small action daily. Life rewards consistency, not intensity. The same applies to learning. Reading 2 pages a day doesn't feel heroic. Questions. But reading 2 pages daily for a year means you finished several books. On the other hand, reading 100 pages in one day and then not touching a book for months may feel impressive. Questions. But it builds no habit, no depth, and no continuity. Knowledge, like water, seeps in slowly, but only if you keep pouring it. Big actions often come from emotion. You feel inspired, you feel guilty. Questions. Or you feel pressured, so you do something extreme, but emotion fades, and when emotion fades, the action stops. Small actions don't rely on emotion. They rely on systems. Questions. They quietly fit into your life without demanding too much willpower. That's why they last. Think about physical health again. Questions. A person who does light stretching every morning stays flexible and active for years. Another person who does an intense workout once in a while often ends up injured or exhausted. Questions. The body doesn't ask for punishment, it asks for care. Life is the same. It responds better to kindness and consistency than to force. Small consistent actions also protect you from burnout. Questions. When you try to do too much at once, you drain yourself. You start associating growth with pain. Slowly, you begin to resist improvement altogether. But when growth is gentle. Questions. You don't feel threatened by it. You welcome it. You even look forward to it. Daily life gives us a beautiful example in cooking. Adding a little salt regularly keeps the dish balanced. Questions. Adding too much salt at once ruins everything. Success also needs balance. Small adjustments in attitude, effort, and behavior keep your life flavorful. Extreme actions often spoil the process. Questions. Consistency also builds trust with yourself and with others. When people see you showing up regularly, even in small ways, they rely on you. Employers trust you. Friends respect you. Questions. Family depends on you. On the other hand, someone who makes grand gestures once in a while but disappears most of the time creates uncertainty. Life values reliability more than occasional brilliance. Questions. There's a deep psychological benefit too. When you complete small actions daily, you experience small wins. These wins boost your confidence. Confidence boosts momentum. Questions. Momentum keeps you moving forward. Big actions, if failed, damage confidence. Small actions, even when imperfect, encourage progress. Nature, again, is our greatest teacher. Questions. Rain doesn't fall once a year in a dramatic flood to nourish crops. It falls gently, consistently. The earth absorbs it slowly. Growth happens quietly. Trees don't grow because of one storm. Questions. They grow because of regular sunlight, water, and care. Many people postpone success because they are waiting for the day they can do something big. But success doesn't ask for big questions. It asks for faithful. Faithful to small efforts. Faithful to showing up. Faithful to doing a little even when you feel like doing nothing. One day, when the results show, people will be surprised. Questions. They'll say, you did something extraordinary, but you'll know the truth. There was nothing extraordinary about it. It was ordinary actions done consistently. Questions. So don't underestimate the power of small steps. A small step taken daily will take you further than a giant leap taken once. Life doesn't reward those who try hardest once. Questions. It rewards those who keep trying quietly every single day. Questions. Most of the powerful things in life don't make noise. The sun doesn't announce its arrival every morning, yet it changes the world every day. Time doesn't shout while passing. Questions. Yet it transforms everything it touches. In the same way, habits work quietly. They don't demand attention. They don't create drama. But slowly, steadily, questions. They shape your future without asking for permission. People often look at someone's success or failure and think it happened suddenly. Questions. He became successful so fast, or her life fell apart unexpectedly. But if you look closely, nothing was sudden. It was the result of habits repeated for years. Questions. The future is not created by big decisions made once in a while. It is created by small habits practiced daily, often without thinking. Think about daily life. Questions. A person who checks their phone first thing in the morning may not feel any harm today. But over time, that habit shapes attention, focus, and mental peace. Questions. Another person who starts the day with silence, reflection, or planning feels calmer and more in control. One habit, two different futures. Questions. The difference didn't appear in one day. It appeared silently over time. Habits are powerful because they operate on autopilot. Once a habit is formed, it doesn't ask for effort. It simply runs. Questions. That's why habits are dangerous when they are negative and magical when they are positive. A negative habit doesn't destroy your life immediately. It gives you comfort first. Damage comes later. Questions. A positive habit doesn't reward you immediately. It tests your patience first. Rewards come later. Life has a strange sense of balance. Consider food habits. Questions. Eating junk food once doesn't ruin your health, but eating it regularly slowly changes your energy, mood, and confidence. On the other hand, choosing simple, healthy food daily may not feel exciting. Questions. But over time it builds strength, clarity, and self-respect. Your future body is being designed by what you eat today, quietly, silently. Habits also shape your thinking. If you regularly complain, questions, you don't just express negativity. You train your mind to look for problems. If you regularly practice gratitude, you don't just feel thankful. You train your mind to notice abundance. Over time, questions. These thinking habits shape how you experience life. Two people can live in the same situation and feel completely different. simply because of mental habits. Questions. One of the most dangerous things about habits is that they feel normal. We don't question them. We say, this is just how I am. But habits are not personality. They are patterns. Questions. And patterns can be changed once you become aware of them. Awareness is the first step to taking back control. Daily life shows us how silent habits work in relationships. Questions. Not listening properly doesn't break a relationship in one day. Being sarcastic doesn't destroy trust immediately. Taking people for granted doesn't cause instant loss, but repeated over time. Questions. These habits create distance, resentment, and loneliness. In the same way, small habits like checking in, appreciating, and listening deeply can slowly build strong, meaningful relationships. Questions. Habits also decide your confidence. When you regularly do what you promise yourself, you build inner strength. When you regularly break promises to yourself, you build self-doubt. Questions. No one else may notice, but your mind keeps a record. And over time, that record becomes your self-image. What makes habits truly powerful is that they compound. Just like interest in a bank account, questions, habits multiply. One good habit makes the next good habit easier. One bad habit invites another bad habit. Order creates more order. Chaos creates more chaos. Questions. The direction you choose today decides the momentum of your life tomorrow. The scary part is this: your future self is living with the habits you are creating today. Questions. That person will either thank you or blame you, but they won't be able to change the past. That's why today matters so much more than we realize. The beautiful part is this: questions. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to change what you repeat. Change one habit, and you slowly change your direction. Change your direction, questions, and your destination changes automatically. So pay attention to your habits, not with fear, but with respect. Because they may be quiet, but they are powerful. Questions. And while the world is busy chasing loud success, your habits are quietly deciding who you are becoming.